So students, today we will learn how to draw the MO picture for oxygen O2 and fluorine F2. You know, they are present in the second period of the periodic table, and along with oxygen and fluorine there were other elements like lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, etc. So, what happens in case of boron, carbon, and nitrogen? All these elements, they have 1s, 2s, and 2p orbitals, and there a sp interaction is present in boron, carbon, and nitrogen. While in oxygen and fluorine, there are no sp interaction is present while forming the MO orbitals. So why that happens? Let us discuss about that first. This is a plot of potential energy in kilojoule per mole versus atomic number. Here you can see I have shown you qualitatively. This is the energy for 2s orbitals and this is the energy for the 2p orbitals. If you look at here, you see in case of boron, carbon, and nitrogen, the energy gap between these 2s and 2p orbitals is much less than the energy gap in case of oxygen and fluorine. As the energy gap is more in case of oxygen and fluorine, there is no interaction between the s and p orbitals. In this picture you see here, the plot is delta E versus atomic number, where delta E is the energy difference between the p and s orbital, and here you can see with increase of atomic number the energy difference increases. That means starting from boron, when we go up, that is up to fluorine, you can see the gap is increasing. So obviously the interaction will be very poor or it is not there. So for example, I have written here for boron the energy gap is 2.5 electron volt, but for fluorine the energy gap is 20.5 electron volt. So this you can tell by this that there will be no interaction of s and p orbital while forming the molecular orbital of O2 and F2. And the reason behind this is that why the energy difference is less or more. The reason behind those two are that there are two reasons. Like you see in boron, carbon, and nitrogen, the p orbitals, that is less than equal to half fill. So in nitrogen it is p3, in carbon it is p2, and in boron this is p1. And in case of oxygen and fluorine, it is greater than half fill. That is, in oxygen it is p4 and in fluorine it is p5. So you see there is a large number of electron in p orbitals of oxygen and fluorine. So there will be electron repulsion, and because of this electron repulsion, the energy separation will be more in case of oxygen and fluorine. And other than that, electronegativity also plays an important role here. Electronegativity of oxygen and fluorine is more than boron, carbon, and nitrogen. And what happens because of this high electronegativity, they pull the 2s electron towards the nucleus very much, and for that reason the energy difference between 2s and 2p orbital is more. And so as the energy difference is more, there will be no interaction, no sp interaction. Now we will draw the MO picture for oxygen and fluorine. So you see here, for oxygen the orbitals involved were 1s, 2s, and 2p. These 2s and 2p are the valence cells. So we can draw considering the 2s, 2p, or you can draw 1s also, but actually 1s does not take part in the formation of the molecular orbital because it does not take part in the formation of bonds. So we can start from 2s and 2p also. So let us write first the 2s orbital, atomic orbital. Then I write here also 2s atomic orbital. These two will combine This will give rise to one bonding MO, that is sigma 2s, and this will give rise to sigma star 2s. Now comes the p orbitals. So these are the 2p orbital, and this side also you will have the 2p orbital from another atom of oxygen or fluorine. Now you have to consider, see here you have three orbitals like px, py and pz. Three orbitals are there, and one of them will combine to form sigma bond and other two will combine to form the pi bonds. So which will form the sigma and which will form the pi bonds, that will be dependent on which axis you are choosing as the molecular axis. If you choose as z axis as molecular axis, if you choose as molecular axis, so what will happen, the sigma bond will be formed by pz combination, sigma bond will form, and other two, that is py and px, will form the pi bonds. And similarly, if you consider x axis as molecular axis, then px will combine to form sigma bond, and py and pz will form to combine pi bonds, will combine to form pi bonds. So here I am considering z axis as molecular axis. So what will happen, this pz will combine to form the sigma bond, so this is sigma 2pz, and this one is sigma star 2pz. Now the remaining are 2px and 2py. They are degenerate orbitals. So these two are pi, 2py, 2px and 2py, and these two are, here let me write, these two are pi star 2px 2py. So these are the molecular orbitals of oxygen or fluorine. These are the molecular orbitals. Now let us consider the case for oxygen. What was the electronic configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So 2s2, 2p4. So we will put 2 electrons here in each side. These are the atomic orbitals of oxygen now, and so this sigma and sigma star will be occupied by total 4 electrons, 2 bonding and 2 anti-bonding electrons. Now P is P4. So P4 means you have to draw it 1, 2, 3 and then P4. So this side also you write 1, 2, 3 then P4. Now how we are going to fill these molecular orbitals? So you have 4 plus 4, 8 electrons. So you fill up like 1, 2, then 3, 4, then 5 and 6, then 7, then 8. So you see here you have 2 unpaired electrons present in these pi star molecular orbitals in oxygen. So oxygen is basically, oxygen O2 is basically paramagnetic as it has 2 unpaired electrons. If we go for fluorine, what will happen? You will have 2p5 configuration. That means you will have 4 here. So 1 electron will be added in here, 1 electron will be added in here. So what will happen now? Now you will have these electrons will be paired up. So fluorine is basically diamagnetic in nature. Diamagnetic in nature. Oxygen is paramagnetic, but fluorine is diamagnetic in nature. So now you have to put here the energy axis. Always in the left side you put the energy axis. And what will be the molecular electronic configuration for fluorine or oxygen? Let me first write the orbitals. They will be sigma 2s, then sigma star 2s, then sigma 2pz, then comes pi 2px, pi 2py, then comes pi star 2px, pi star 2py less than sigma star 2pz. So this is the energy. If we consider the energy values of these orbitals, this will be the energy trend of the molecular orbitals. Then we will fill up the electrons. For oxygen we have total, how many electrons will be there? Here it will be 2, 2, 2. Then in pi also we have 2 electrons, and then in pi star we have 1 electrons, and this is 0. So what will be the bond order? Bond order for oxygen will be equal to 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 minus 2 in antibonding, and these 2 are also in antibonding. So 2 plus 2, 4. That means 8 minus 4 divided by 2, that is 4 by 2 is equal to 2. So bond order in oxygen is 2. And if it is bond order for fluorine, what will happen? In fluorine we will have this pi star will be 2 instead of 1, it will be 2 now. So what will be the bond order? This is for oxygen. What will be the bond order? So 2 more antibonding electrons are there, that means 8 minus 6 divided by 2 is equal to 2 by 2 is equal to 1. So bond order of fluorine is 1. So now this way you will be able to tell about the molecular electronic configuration. You will be able to tell about the bond order of O2 and F2, and you will be also able to tell about the paramagnetic or diamagnetic nature of O2 and F2. And from this you will be able to draw the molecular orbital picture for O2 plus, O2 2 plus, then O2 minus or O2 2 minus, all species by subtracting electron or adding electron. You will be able to draw the molecular orbital, you will be able to calculate the bond order, and you will be able to predict their magnetic character also.